Hello guys, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Okay, let's wait for a couple of people to join. Okay. Let's see. We have two people tuned in so far. How are you guys doing? How's your day going so far? And if you guys are new, usually the way we do it is you guys can ask all your questions in the comments, and I'll look at the comments and answer any questions or go over the tickers you guys have mentioned. Anything, you can just go over the general market sentiment as well. Let me pull up a couple of charts in the meantime. Starting with SPY. SPY is right. Can you guys hear me clearly before I start? Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Okay, good. All right. So let's take a look at the market. Okay, let's get up here. Hmm. Wonder why. Okay, here it is. Okay. So not a whole lot. A little bit of a choppy action, but ended up on a strong close. Quite a bit of buy volume. If you can look at the 15-minute chart, seems to be forming a W-shaped pattern. See if it can break out of here. I mean, it already did. To try to close right above this line, and you can see if it will continue and continue tomorrow. As I said yesterday, gold remains to be really strong, and it actually had a big gap of day today. I said SPY has been acting almost very similar to gold, has had pullback days, but the pullbacks have been getting bought aggressively. You can see the opening when the market opened up, it pulled back into the key $313 level, which has been traditionally the support for the market. Closed above the pivot of 315.6, which has been good. Levels to look forward to would be 318, and once 318 passes, then we should be good to go. Moving averages are catching up. You can see the 10-day starting to curl back up again with a 21-day moving exponential average, which is good. So far, everything is healthy, nothing out here. Aggressive buying into close. The good thing is that the leaders, who are stocks that have been adding as leaders, have been acting really good. They have been getting bought aggressively. Tesla, on the other hand, today acted a little bit choppy towards the close. But if we look at Tesla, tried to have a big inside day, but ended up closing fine. As I mentioned yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised if it consolidates. It's had two big down volume days, which means that like you can see, there's a big sell-off towards the end, but got bought back, and that's not a bad thing, honestly, for leaders to consolidate a little bit after the big runs. And it might also mark the general sentiment of the market. The leaders who've gone a little crazy might actually need to stop back a little bit and consolidate before making another bull run. All this is all part of a healthy bull cycle. A lot of people do believe that we are just starting a new bull cycle, and we could really be just at the tip of the iceberg. Basically, like there could be a lot more runs to come. So I would just risk manage properly and let the winners ride. In this kind of a market, it's a shame if you have good entries and you just get stopped out because you get too greedy and want to save a penny here and there. Let me give you guys an instance of that. Things that the reason why I mentioned letting the winners run is because let's take a look at Microsoft, right? So yesterday, Microsoft hit this critical level of 214.7 where it got sold off. But if you were greedy enough, it pulled back all the way down to 208, so it almost gave back $6 in returns. But since a person who has a good entry after this post breakout around this $200 level, you could be like, oh, I don't want to give back $6, and you would exit the position with a tight stop loss. But since you have enough cushion in a strong market like this, you usually just scale out at this resistance level, but still have position in a stock like this until it does a major violation. And a major violation could be a break of this trend line here, or break of 10-day moving average. So, I would just let the winners ride. That's how it is. I think Nikola took some of Tesla's team today. Nikola, yeah, that was an interesting name. The reason it is because it found a technically strong support, which is the 50-day moving average, and just gapped up on insane volume. The only reason for Nikola to be a little bit more cautious is now everybody knows that they don't have anything in production as a company. It's all technical play. It had a technical bounce today. Fundamentally, they don't have any vehicle out there. Um, and definitely, I would agree that since Tesla acted a little weak today, or was in a consolidation period, people wanted to move that money into some kind of electric motor stock of any kind. A bunch of them have already run, like Solo, Neoran made all-time highs today, and this made the most technical and safest bet because it had gone and touched the 50-day moving average and filled the gap on the lower side. This is your gap here. It had a gap fill, which is also the 50-day, and then decided to coil out. Uh, it's I would be really interested to see if it can break this 21-day moving average up here. Why is it not deleting this? And could revamp and try. Okay, now just. So this moving average up here, it may start acting up as your resistance, but as you can see, it definitely has room to go all the way up to $66. That could be your logical target, but given it has to get past this $57 level, which is your 21-day exponential moving average, then it's your 10-day moving average at 61. As long as it can get past it, 66 seems like a realistic target on Nikola, especially after this good volume. It could have a big gap up morning and get sold off, but so it could offer a quick entry and exit if you're already not in the trade. Um, so yeah, just keep an eye out. Gapped up after hours, you can see your 56, which is basically almost your 21-day exponential moving average. So just keep an eye out for this zone to break out. Once it does, over 61, 62, it can trade to 66, 67. Okay, good, good, good. We also had a couple of other takers. What was a pretty good trade. Mentioned it on the live stream yesterday. Had a strong breakout over this descending tops line, and got over this previous resistance of 3.65. and over that it was just clear skies until at least $4. So you could have made a good over 10% return without risking too much capital. And unfortunately couldn't have this break over 4.20, close below this, and now it basically violates my principle for having a continuation day. I would have wanted it to close over 4.2, but it didn't, and now until it does that, until it breaks this 4.20 level, I'm probably not gonna get too excited about what anymore. SDGR, yep, SDGR I mentioned today had a touch of the 10-day moving average in the morning and consistently hovered around it. Uh, it closed all little above the 10-day moving average. Has had 4 down days, almost, yeah, has had 4 down days now, and so I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to go back up here and holds this 10-day moving average. It could be a good risk reward position to initiate, and with a tight stop loss, probably below like the low of this date, which is um about 86.5. You can risk that much. If you get this entry, risk $2 and try to ride it all the way up. A similar setup showed up in Redfin today. I mentioned this as well. I like this setup a little better than SDGR because it held the 10-day moving average and had a much stronger close above it. Had a dollar close above the 10-day moving average, which tells you that people are still interested to buy this and find support. Um, so I did mention both of these today. In particular, low risk entry, especially in such a fast market. If you can get entries like this, you should always try to take a chance. And if the trade doesn't work your way, it doesn't always have to, but these are the chances worth taking in a market like this. Okay, what else do we have? Um, Pins, SLV, silver. How far pins can go? Let's take a look at pins. Pins has had a good call, option call volume inflow in it. Um, yep, these are my old lines. That's how much longer I've looked at pins. Ideally, it's supposed to be some old pivot lines that I've drawn out here. I don't trade using pivots that much anymore, but let me kind of get rid of these a little bit so the chart becomes a little clear. Okay, I think okay. So as you can see, this is probably on 26th of June is probably when it hit the 50-day or was about to hit the 50-day moving average. A big institutional influx came into the stock, and that's probably where institutions started getting interested into it. The other thing, let's take a look at what it's trying to do. Yeah, like for now, I would definitely want it to break this previous high. You can see this is a big gap fill that it needs to do. It almost filled the gap today. Might have filled it after hours, but you definitely want it to keep going short. I'm not gonna take too much time stammering going back and forth, but it definitely needs to clear 27.5 in my opinion for to have any continuation move. All the way has room to 34, 33, $34. So the move hasn't still not ended. Key break would be $30. So over 27.5, I would like $30 and $33. Definitely has room to accomplish that. Has had lots of option flows into it. It's still getting bought even in the overbought territory. So yeah, just want to convincingly break this 27.5 level for now for pins. Um, SLV. Let's take a look at SLV. Silver, as I mentioned yesterday, silver, gold have been on the same tier. This is a now or never moment for silver. It's definitely slower than gold, but precious metals, they've been on a tier. Lots of volume. Again, there's this big gap up level that it needs to fill first, and then once it fills that, it has basically blue skies all the way up to $18 levels. 18.35. It's a really slow trader in a market like this. I personally, unless you want to save yourself or be safe and play like small percentage gainers, or play stocks where you don't want to risk too much, You can go with a safer option. It's definitely a hedge against the market. But given so many other stocks which have been making explosive moves, um, you should take advantage of the market when it's something of that nature. IBIO, I've heard of this. I had some pops coming up about IBIO. Yeah, but for silver, I would definitely want it to break the 17.7 level, 17.75 level. Um, and then it's if you look at the weekly chart, that gives you a clearer picture that it's still kind of a big cup being followed. Like you can see this is wait, what is it doing? You can see this is still a big cup, right? So until it breaks these levels, um, it's like it's still kind of starting to hit resistance levels. So just keep an eye out. I expect gold to keep going up, and as gold goes up, silver should follow too. IBIO, I don't know. It's been such a strange chart. Like I tried to play this here a couple of times. I think and this was just not one of my favorite setups. I know it has had a news about some kind of vaccines or something. It's like a vaccine play, if I don't remember. Um, okay, I'm gonna pause a little bit and wait for everybody to get reconnect. Or I did get an error on my screen that my streaming software probably had a slow bit of a reconnecting moment, so that probably is why you guys got disconnected or have blurry screen. Yep, I would just wait for everybody to either refresh or reconnect this to the stream. Okay, it's fine then. Let's move on. Yeah, IBIO. So it's definitely in a long term. There's this descending tops line that it will most likely touch again, but until it breaks out of it cleanly, like bot had a similar setup. But ideally, you would want to wait for these levels to clear up because IBIO and pennies, you have a lot of bag holders that you don't know about. A lot of people bought into the hype around here on the vaccine hype that either got shook out or kept averaging down or kept adding. So pennies are a lot more trickier, and you want to make sure if you get in, there's the bag hold has been cleared. So I would wait for 2.7 to clear on this. Then it has clear skies to 3.3. I know I mean, going from 2.3 to 3.3 is better, but that way you risk less capital and the chances of trade going in your favor is a lot more. So, I would definitely kind of try to take advantage of that. It is starting to, I mean, the moving averages look fine, but again, these are penny plays, and if you want to day trade it, I would wait for 2.7 to clear. Okay, what else do we have? But again, guys, I will reiterate this that the market is really strong right now. It's following all the money, the Fed money behind the market is ridiculous. It's driving the growth stocks up like there's no tomorrow. A lot of sectors are getting bashed down. Dixie, to me, pins is over 27.5. If it doesn't feel like stopping, it's extended in my opinion. So, um, it's not an amazing opportunity, but if it can get over 27.5, right now a lot of stocks are extended which keep going every day. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets over 27.5 to 30 and 33. So 33 remains to be the most optimistic target, but 30 is more realistic. And if you can get past, and you can let it ride if you want. So 27.5 break is key on pins. Okay. Um, I've been having a lot of leaders in my watch list for the whole day, and it keeps growing every day because I'm like, how much more can I watch, and how much, and there's only so much cash I can put in. So you can see SE appears to be a hot one recently. Look at this chart. There's literally no way this chart seems to want to stop. So definitely room to 135, 145, lots of room above this 124. Like, once you can break 127, 128, then there's lots of room to like almost 150. Look at this chart here, it's crazy. Like, look, it's completely vertical. There's RSI is at 88 right now and it's still getting bought. That's the kind of market we are in. Solar, I didn't pay much attention to solar today. Any particular tickers you want me to take a look at for solar? That was SPWR or something. I think that was one of them. Yep. Yep. SPWR. If you look at this one, finally broke out today out of this ascending triangle breakout. Had a decent volume on the breakout. Had been coiling up real tight, holding the moving averages, holding the key 50-day moving averages, getting tight. Okay. China Solar, JKS run. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's take a look at run. I heard about this one too. Let's get rid of SPW. Yeah, it's a much cleaner chart. Like it long-term consolidation base. The longer the base, they say, the more the powerful is the move. Definitely one of those really nice names to keep an eye out. You can see this is where you're gapped up at a huge base starting from, if you consider a short-term base, all the way started here. This is all the base it made, and then immediately gapped up above this 23 level, and then keeps going. So not surprised. It might have a couple of consolidation days up here, but China has in general been hot lately. Plus, it's the solar sector, huge volumes on the breakouts. Well, like last time it had this big of a breakout volume here, it kept going from 3rd February uh, to all the way 20 February, so it went up straight for 17 days or 2 weeks roughly. So this is just the beginning of the move. So if it keeps going up, there's no stopping to it. It can continue going up for 2 weeks, um, and it wouldn't hurt. Might have a little bit of consolidation period, but um, I love charts which don't have a lot of overhead resistance, and it clearly doesn't. It's a free runner, blue skies. You can just let it ride. Good one. FSLR. This is okay. Dixie also mentioned this one for solar. Yep. FSLR. Another strong mover out of the box. Um, I mean, if you look at it, the weekly chart still shows it's in a big cup, so it could have one of those moments it's trying to fill this gap up all the way to $75, where it's breakout levels for this chart, right? So wouldn't be surprised if it does that. But right now, I would definitely, I mean, want it to break $60. If it can do that, then 60, 65, 70, 68. So almost like $5 trades are over $60. But I do want it to test and break out over $50 and continue. Um, that's what I'm going to be looking at for this one to maybe enter. So you can see it's right here. Once it breaks out of there, then it's blue skies all the way to 68. I have not been doing China stocks at all. Like, see, I got burnt in LK so bad. And it was one of my horrendous trades that actually just caught me off guard and just threw me off the game for so much that I had to really uh I don't know how to say, but just like one of those trades that just shake you up so bad that it takes you time to recover. And since then I've just lost track of, like if you look at GSX, I had this stock, and I believe it was, what was that, what's that, Citron or something came out with the report, just like they came out with LK. I had this stock at $15 at some point, and I gave up on it. And like they came out with the report that this is another fraud like LK. And this provided some of the most amazing setups. This stock, if you look at GSX, look at this, like it's a real powerful mover out here. And this was your setup around 42 $45, and then since then gapped up, formed a stage one base and then still has gone up and has not given still a stage two. So huge volume on each of these gap ups, and then subsequently smaller volumes in the flag consolidation. So huge movers. But again, I'm so scared to play these that I've not even looked at it since LK stuff happened, and Citron has been very vocal about them being fraud, and I have no idea. I'm just scared if one day I wake up and it becomes a fraud and I lose like 60, 70, 80% of my portfolio, or not entire portfolio, but my invested portfolio in this company overnight. I'm just too shaken, scared about it, so I haven't looked at it at all. Okay. Somebody mentioned 4 yesterday, and today it had this interesting. I might drew this trend line yesterday for people as a reference to the trade, hit it perfectly, and then fell back. Still, it's a little hasn't formed that IPO base that I would like, and could really pull back to this trend line. If it does, then it might offer another entry. I'm gonna set an alert for this trend line and see if it hits it. Okay. I'm gonna right click it inside. Oh, there you go. Okay. The name that I'm watching right now is called Vroom. It's one of those that is backed by Bill Gates. It's a new IPO like Carvana, and I was looking at Carvana's chart. Usually, these kind of IPOs, after forming a base, they basically kind of consolidate a little bit, and then they have a real strong earnings report. That's where Carvana started taking off first and hit their first earnings report and took off. Um, this is the 21-day exponential moving average right here. So $50 is a psychological level. I wouldn't be surprised if it holds. Not the cleanest of chart, not a whole lot of history. So it's been acting a little bit. It's not the best cleanest looking chart, but if you want, like you could take an entry, like it's starting to find on the hourly chart, find some support around the 200-day moving average on the hourly chart, and then it can most likely maybe ride up. It rides like very strong on the way up and down both ways. Like you can see it can be a big gap of more, so keep an eye out for this one for sure. Right now it doesn't show any good pattern except just the support on the 200-day moving average, but this is the one I'm watching for an IPO play. Okay, let's take a look. Spotify. I don't know if anybody has a position or is interested in Spotify. Okay, let me get rid of this Fibonacci level. So I tried to break out today, had strong call volume and different strikes, but again, um, had a weaker close. It got sold off towards the close and got back in. An action for Spotify today reminds me of something like Facebook. Facebook has been one of those frustrating failed breakouts, one after the other, and it just, like you can see, um, it just had so many attempts to test this breakout and fails until Facebook clears this 248 mark. It's I don't know, and the same with Spotify until I see it having a close above the previous day's highs outside the bar. LCA, I looked at it, yeah. Um, yeah, prompt support at the 21-day exponential moving average right now. Doesn't really, I mean, had a lot of buying after hours. Definitely gapped up after hours to 13.74, and which is above the 10-day moving average. So it's kind of something very close to a setup like Nikola, right? Where it found support at the moving average, filled the gap up. You just have to wait for it to see how it opens up. Um, and if it can open up over the 10-day moving average, then it definitely, and I mean, after hour activity shows that it's trading around here. So if it does, then it definitely has a lot of leg to go all the way up around these $15 levels, and then trade for a dollar range. Okay, Sonos, yes, Sonos has been one of those stocks that has had good call volume coming in. I was looking at the stock, and You can see this big pop here. This is institutions taking part in it. Still feels like it needs to either get out of it because it keeps trading along this trade, and I would want it to break this consolidation around here, break like $16, and then it becomes really like has a gap fill, and then it can really go after that. I don't think it has a whole lot of overhead resistance. Has been choppy and trying to be strong recently. Has a lot of call volumes, but I would definitely want it to break. And also, if you can see the weekly chart, there's been it definitely came out of this downtrending channel recently, so that's good news for this. You can see it's definitely trading above it, but I definitely wanted to clear the $16 mark, and then I think it will get a lot more attention. Jamir. Okay, let me just clear some of these levels out here. Yep, really good volume. Um, I don't know how, but it definitely tried to gap up a little bit, had some continuation in after hours, but then got sold off. Uh, so yes, on the weekly as well, it's above all the moving averages, which is a good sign. It closed above that at least, so it definitely has a lot of gap fill. Definitely has legs to $9 in my opinion. It's still at $8, and once it breaks $9, there's lots of like to $10. So I would definitely want it to break $8 first with conviction. If it can break $8, then $9 is definitely on the charts for this one, and then post that $11. Like then you can trade it with a dollar level, $10, $11. After $11, it's like $13. So it's really one of those charts that can really go. Has been a strong mover. $8 is a key break in my opinion. So yep, look out for continuation on this one. Has had one of its best volume days today. And last time this kind of volume showed up, that was like I think it's how much is the volume today? I think it was 22 million. It's 22 million. It's the most volume date has ever had actually. It has not had this much volume even on the IPO. So yep, has definitely likes to continue and make big moves to $10, $11, so $9, $10. Just look for dollar levels on this one basically after $8. Right, Alt has been one of my favorite long term holdings. I've been like you see this line out here. This is where my first position on Alt has been initiated around $3. I'm still in this position. And I first discovered about their drug, um, around this $9 mark, and since then, it's a big play. I don't know if any news leaked or something today, but it's definitely one of those technical plays where just downtrends. And I mentioned this multiple times. It gaps up, forms a flag, then breaks out again. Did the same thing today. I don't know if there was a news behind for such a big move today. That information about their drug trials leaked or something like that, but it was definitely a big mover. And you can see that it definitely has lots of legs. $20 was the target on this one, and above $21 then it can gap up very fast to $26. So watch for the break of $21 tomorrow. If it gets to those levels, if you haven't had entries already, then $26 and over 26, it's got 36, 31, $36. So $5, $5 level targets over 21. Um, it's a wild mover, so don't get crazy stopped out on like keeping stop losses too fast. Um, and basically, don't try to chase. Wait for a conviction break of $21 on alt. All right. talked about LABU yesterday, and it's definitely testing this breakout level to 67.11 again. Keep an eye out for this level to clear up, and once it clears up, it has got room to at least 75, 77, but definitely needs to break 70 past this. Once it can break that, then 75, 77 is on the cards for Labu. TGTX, another one we discussed yesterday, and as I said, it has two possible scenarios. Either after yesterday it starts forming a handle, or it can gap up. It had legs for both. Today it never even tested the breakout line, and the moment it got over $23 was your cue that it could potentially have the legs to continued all the way to $24. So it's a strong stock doing what it's supposed to be doing, coming out of a decent sized base. So I wouldn't worry about it giving too many of its gains. Walmart talked about it yesterday, couldn't break out this descending top line, and until it does that, it's a no trade for me. It could have same action as Roku when Roku was trying to break this its descending trend line, and then this had so many failed breakout attempts. So yep, until that happens, it's a no go. Amazon talked about it yesterday. Doesn't seem to be giving back anything. I had an alert set for about 2900 to see if it pulls back today if the market was weak, but I think it's just going to consolidate above the $3,000 level right now. And possibly I can see Amazon going much higher. Uh, realistic target on Amazon for me is well, short term. I mean, not a whole lot, but a little long term on the horizon. 3300, 3600, easily possible on Amazon. No brainer. FTNT too rich for me, but option players might like it. FTNT, I think. Oh yeah, FTNT. Definitely, definitely a lot strong inside day candle, and it tried to break out today out of this. And yep, the cue was this breakout candle over 144. This over 144 was your breakout candle. Strong volume. Let me close my old alerts. These are sometimes the stocks I used to look at, and I had looked at it, these stock at like $82 levels, but yep. As long as you can, like, the target still remain 150 on this, and over 150 it can definitely have major upside all the way to 160. So yep, 150 still remains the target, then 156, and then above 156 the target remains 175. Yep, over 150 it should get going really fast. I like it, like this one a lot. BTG, we talked about this yesterday. Um, Never gave back any chance for people like TGTX to get back in on the breakout levels. I said gold has been strong and has been acting strong, so I initiated a position on this, but couldn't get a bigger one to fill. I had a smaller position. I wanted more fills around this 5.8 or 5.7 levels, but couldn't get any, so I took a smaller starter today on this one, and we'll keep monitoring it as long as 5.9 holds on this trade. If not, then I'll buy more back around the breakout levels if I want. Okay. Anything else you guys wanna talk about? My kale was super today. Not sure how much more can go. Kale, yeah, one of those your sectorial plays. Yep, this is being the lines I'll trust. I drew it a long time ago, over $48. Well, let's see. Let's get rid of the old ways of doing things. Look at the new ways. Weekly, strong weekly candle this week. It's definitely giving signs of breaking out. You can see it's coming out of it's coming into a long-term consolidation period. Has had frustrated people quite a bit. Right now, I think the key is the breakout, and you can see today it's testing out these breakout levels, right? So we would want to stay above this blue line that I've mentioned if you wanted to continue. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps doing it. If it keeps going, gold has been strong, and there's no reason for it to not continue. So I would just keep an eye out, see as long as this blue line holds. Take an entry, strong volume today. You can see it has really strong volume today on this breakout move. See, look for continuation on this. No reason for this to be going back down as long as gold keeps acting good. I mean, it's good for the reason it's been good so far for only day trading and not swinging is because it's been in this long consolidation zone. So when the stock does this kind of boring actions, not a whole lot of there's chances of it getting shorted because there's no key institutions that want to participate. But when it breaks out on these strong volumes, institutions get interested, and every big sell order gets absorbed really fast, so its chances of following up become much higher. So this is now when I would be actually interested in looking at KL again. Thanks for bringing this one up, Dixie, and it's again one of those good charts to keep an eye out for. Don't be a sleeper on KL. It has had major runs once it breaks out. Like it had a breakout around $23, and then it broke out around 14th, 17th December, and by 26th Feb, it had gone up by 50%. So in 3 months, it can go up by 50%. It's that kind of a mover. BTC, um, okay, I think it's called the USD BTC in this one. Well, Bitcoin, I guess. Mm, I don't know what it's called. BTC USD. I don't know. I don't know why it's not pulling it up. I guess I can do. I tried to look it up like that, but it just wasn't showing up. BTC definitely coming out. It's starting to get really tight, in my opinion. BTC, like it's one of those things which can have, which should have a big move around the corner, is my guess. You can see that it's on the weekly chart. Like it's still not out of the downtrend completely, but it's starting to get tight on the 200 moving. Like the moving averages are starting to get coiled up. It's really getting coiled, starting to get really tight. All it needs is a conviction. It's such a small mover. Like the market cap of Bitcoin, I believe, or all the cryptos are maybe less than Microsoft. That's how small. So they can be real wild movers. Definitely wanted to reclaim the 10,000 level, because that level, ideally, it can get more explosive over 11,500. But you want to break the $10,000 psychological level first, so you can, get more assurance. But once it breaks these levels, 10,600, 11,600, and then once it breaks those, then 13,000, 14,000, it should move fast. But keep an eye out. I wanted to break this downtrending on the weekly, getting tight. Can be an explosive mover in either direction. Like it can hit this again and fall back all the way down to 6K. Nobody knows. It needs to break out of here with conviction. Okay, BTC, that's your KL. As I mentioned yesterday about Zoom, I don't know if any of you guys have been following Zoom. Oh, I also mentioned Snapchat yesterday. Snapchat has finally broken out of this $26, closed above the $26 25 level, and once it does that, 27, 28. It's look for continuation on Snapchat. Strong mover. I really like Fizz as well. Fizz has been one of those trades that's been under the radar kind of place that nobody talks about, but it's really once it breaks out of this 60 at $70 level, then 73 and other things should come soon. Keep an eye out for Fizz. Livongo had another kind of smaller volume days. It's not really small, but above average volume days to compare. Clear signs that uh, when it tried to test the close of yesterday, institution stepped in and bought it back. No reason why it cannot go higher. No red flags on this chart. If you're in this trade, just manage your position. And T-Doc mentioned this one as well yesterday. Still staying above this blue line right here, and as long as it stays above it, it's all good. No need to look at it every day. D-Dog had a huge day. We mentioned about this yesterday. It was starting to get tight around this moving average. Got supported on the 21-day exponential and then got real tight at this 10-day moving average and had been holding this profit loss zone. Had some sideways action and then broke out. Had a big candle. Can easily now I think test $100. No reason why it shouldn't. So keep an eye out on D-Dog. Apple still like marching slowly to this clothesline level. Tomorrow's key level to break would be 387 if it gets there. Keep an eye out for 387, 388 to break an Apple tomorrow. If it does, then look for more upside. Net getting tight here. Probably letting the moving averages catch up. Keep an eye out. Weekly still looks amazing on net. Still shows that the breakout is still underway. And no reason to not pay attention to this. FSLY, as I said yesterday, as long as this blue line held on this, no reason to ignore it or to consider it weak until it breaks this blue line and closed below this 10-day moving average. That would be a violation, and then at that point you could be like, we'll revisit it, but no reason why it can't keep going stronger. DER, another one that's um, tried to break out. That's its breakout level. Still hasn't tested the breakout level. Has been consolidating, and it's starting to get tighter. It's you can see these kind of charts can at any day just open up in explosive moves. So keep an eye out for this TR as well. The only reason I have IDY is because there was like some big institutional buying into this stock. Um, I don't know, it's a low volume stock, has somewhat of spread on it. So so far this it's been trading in this box out here. Just kind of staying in this box, minding its own business, not doing anything crazy. It's a pharmaceutical company. Had an offering at $15 a share, which was bought by a lot of big hedge funds at $15. So if they're buying at $15 and it's trading at $14, you might want to take a look at it. That's the only reason why I have it here. For people who don't have, who like to play smaller tickers, it has had crazy spikes. You can see all the way to $20. So don't sleep on it. It can at any day wake up. Okay, discussed a bunch of these. Then let's take a look at SSS. Another one that's I'm keeping an eye out. Not offering anything in terms of decisiveness where it wants to go. If it holds this 970 level, can continue to the top of the channel. If not, it breaks it down, can retrace to the 10-day moving average or the support trend line. So I'm still watching this one. So that's a close watch for me. Um, eBay, yep, continues to act strong. Has had since April 20th has had only 2 down days. Really overextended right now on everywhere, but keeping an eye out for that one. Okay, talked about this. Walmart for Coop, another one I mentioned. Uh, I had a position on this. Still have a small one left from 220 levels. Still letting it ride. So here's the thing: if I had my stops too close, once it touched 270 and fell back down all the way to 250, and I had stops, I would have gotten stopped out. But I'm letting it ride so far. Vapo, another one I really like. I had some positions on it around these levels. You can see 27, 24, and then final position around $30 levels. At this point, not chasing this one at all, just letting it do its thing. This one again, I mentioned it when I had my initial position on this at around $190, and since then has not looked back, still acting strong, and it's starting to get consolidate around here, form another base, maybe for a leg up higher. In case it does, realistic target would be 235, 250, and 260. Shopify, yep, okay, it's getting tight. It's really following this channel. Any day, could be any day. If it acts right and lets the moving averages catch up, maybe that's what it's waiting for. Can have another big move day. See, it did the same thing here. Tried to frustrate people all the way from $840 levels to all the way to $700 levels. It had a big consolidation. So it can have a similar one around here, and then it can get people. Yep, and you can see post this, once it breaks out of this 1060, it has legs all the way to almost 1200. So keep an eye out for shop. AMD, another one of those not so interesting trades. Just doing, it's boring right now. Not even worth looking at. SITM, not offering anything quality right now. I liked it better when it was trading at these levels a couple of weeks ago when I was more interested in this one. Has already gapped up quite a bit. Better entry was this $42 entry, but it's trading in a box right now, and you could potentially buy this box if you can get a fill around 44 $45, and then maybe have a stop loss and manage risk. Okay, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. If not, then we might be calling it a day. Nvidia, yep, seems like 420 is on the card, huh? 420 is that key level which Elon was taking, had that tweet to take Tesla private, so that's what I had my target for Nvidia as well, just a 420 level. uh, yep, SHLL, talked about it yesterday a little bit. I didn't like some action that it was doing today midday, and then I think I took it off my watch list. Yep, I think, but it's definitely peaking of potential. Has I think it's a better prospectus from what I've looked at it in terms of company than Nikola. So it definitely can have a gap fill. Yep, exactly. That's the reason, because the other company, I believe SHLL manufactures the stuff like the motor or whatnot that goes like the whole drive shaft, or I don't know what they call it. I'm not a mechanic. That goes in the truck, and they have a very uh which basically converts any kind of gas powered truck into an electric truck. I think they provide that kind of like fixture that does it, and it's generic, so it fits all the trucks. I think that's what it is. So it's definitely a product that's more viable, because in that case you don't need to buy a new truck. You can just get their stuff fitted into the truck, and that way it would convert. Has held a 10-day moving average. See, hey, I always encourage people to take some risk around these levels, because in a market like this, that's maybe the most pullback you ever get. It's a fairly new IPO, so you maybe not be able to tell too much about its price history. This is the channel. You definitely want this channel to be broken out, and a confirmation of this may be above $28. When it gets above $28, maybe a confirmation for a continuation move, and you could potentially trade up. But uh, yep. So I would definitely wait for, you can have it this way. So you would want it to break $28. I mean, that way you get a little less risk to manage, and then once it breaks that $28 level, then $30, and then once $30, $33, and so forth. So we'll keep an eye out for $20 break. I'll set an alert myself if it breaks 28.1. Let me know. Okay, my alert is set as well on this one. I think that's everything I had in my watch list to cover. Um, CRWD, yep, one of those other frustrating trades that shook people a lot in this box, and then now it's out of the gates. No red resistance. Keep an eye out. It can really be one of those powerful movers, I believe, and the move for this one is just starting, so it definitely has more legs. And yep, 120 seems to be really on the cards, and then 136. I'll be keeping my eye out tomorrow on CRWD as well. LMND. Oh, that crazy one that went to $100, huh? In 2 days. Okay, so only 4 days worth of price action on the 15-minute chart. Really doesn't look that healthy. Looks like it's in a downtrend, and this is a bearish pattern right here. If it breaks down from here, it's got chances once it gets below this low of day, which is I believe 65, 66. It can break down. Bearish pattern. Nothing to look at here until it gives you um any reason that it's trying to form a base around this support or tries to fill or get back above this. Does a gap fill, gets back, I would want it to form a right side base on the 15-minute chart and possibly go up. Until it does that, I'm not interested in LMND. Yep, so I'll just summarize. Tomorrow, keep shell on. If it can break the 28.1 level, KL, watch for continuation. Needs to stay above the blue line. FTNT, definitely keep an eye out for 150 and then above. Alt, wanted to break $21, and after that, it's crazy. 25, 30, whatever number comes to your mind, just spit it out. JMIA, $8 key break tomorrow, and then you got these levels to care about. I'll set an alert for this one myself. It might even open up more, right? It might even open up pre-market and gap up pre-market. So there's always a chance for alt and GMIA to gap up pre-market. If you miss it, you miss it. Don't chase it. Um, Run, another one to look out for continuation. Huge volume. No reason it can't continue. So run like this one. Pinterest 27.5 is the key break. Um, Gold continues to act strong. Has had a little sell off on the gap up today, but that's not unusual after a gap up day. Okay, I think I'll keep an eye out for those others out here. Um, Baba, yeah, it's another one to keep an eye out. I would use this white line here probably as a gauge for the next entry and possibly trade up here. Huge volume, no reason it can't continue. Twitter had news, but got out of this descending triangle that it had been trading under. You can see this finally tried to break out, but for the long term, you want it to stay above this trend line. If not, then it can go back down again on it. CRWD, look for continuation. SDGR, do want it to continue tomorrow. If it breaks below this 10-day moving average, then yep. RDFN, look for again a turn on this tomorrow. Zoom, liking this so far. Still firm on my $300 target on Zoom. Snap, look for continuation to $27, $28. Twilio, another one that keeping an eye out for. Will have an interesting day tomorrow if it can get above $247 basically tomorrow. I think that's pretty much the game plan for tomorrow. Keep an eye out for the stocks mentioned and the key levels, and then hopefully let's see what tomorrow brings. Quickly, let's take a look at the futures. Futures are almost a little bit up, not a whole lot. Uh, you know, Nasdaq's up decent. but not a whole lot in the future. Still flat. Let's wait for China to open up, see how China opens up, and then around 9:30 Eastern, and then that should determine how tomorrow should go. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night here, and hopefully you guys got some ideas and got some questions answered. Again, thanks for tuning in, and let's see if we can get back at it tomorrow. And hopefully, if you guys like it, make sure that you guys can share this with your friends, get them over. I'd be happy to discuss as many tickers as you guys want. Uh, and sometimes I also can only look at so much in a day. I already look at these many in a day. I can't look at everything. So you guys bring me some interesting ideas that I look at, and also add it to my watch list that I think are worth looking at. So I got good info about KL today. Got good info about LCA, LMND. Not L, I mean LMND. It's good to know. After stock pulls back that much, you need to understand if it can offer another entry. SHLO. So a lot of good ones out here, Nicola. So you guys bring these interesting tickers to my mind, and I get an opportunity to review these. So just yeah, if you guys can just share and get as many people on as you want. I'm not gonna charge anybody for this. It's just for fun and just talk about things. All right, guys, have a good night, and hopefully we can see each other tomorrow again around almost a similar time. I'll post it again after getting some feedback from people. What's the best time for them? Let's keep an eye out, and still no reason to be bearish on the market. Market has been looking good. Overall, SPY still consolidating, and it still has lots of room as long as nothing crazy out there happens in the world. So, alright, guys, have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.